As the world looks to ease closures and mandatory quarantine, there's increased that mixing, especially in crowded places, will lead to the uncontrolled emergence of the new coronavirus, which causes COVID-19 again. Many fear that a return to public transport may lead to the worst-case scenario. New York State Governor Andrew Cuomo warned at a press conference on April 24 that the virus could survive for 72 hours on the plastic and steel surfaces of public transport. Writer Brittany Shang said in a report published by Business Insider in its Italian version that there are a number of tips and measures that would dispel fears of spreading infection within transportation. The author interviewed a group of experts, including Thomas Ciaziak, a viral disease expert at the University of Texas, Bernard Cummins, a professor of infectious diseases at Mount Sinai School of Medicine, professor of medicine, global health and epidemiology at George Mason University, and Avishah Farouzich, an expert of infectious diseases, extracted a set of advice from them value for safe use of transportation. 1. Do not touch the phone within public transportation. Although expert Carol Schultz-Reyes, a professor of biology, neuroscience and public health at New York University, believes that using your mobile phone on public transportation does not pose a danger unless someone coughs directly towards you. Princess Royce recommends changing some behaviors and habits in order to get used to not touching the phone by placing it, for example, in a different place in the bag, and in this case once you search for it in the usual place you will remember that you moved it to another place in order not to use it, and as an additional precaution you can clean the phone screen with a sterile tissue. Wash your hands with soap and water after touching it. 2. Take a hand sanitizer with you and use it when getting off public transportation. Almost all experts advise the use of hand sanitizer when leaving any public means of transportation to avoid infection, and according to the specialist Farouzich, if water and soap are not available, then the use of hand sanitizer is an alternative available. 3. Do not touch your face. An important tip when you are on public transportation or in other places is not to touch the face, and infectious disease experts particularly stress not to touch the eyes, nose, and mouth. 4. Try to avoid those who cough or sneeze. If someone is coughing on the train or on the subway, it is necessary to change the place inside the vehicle or go down at the next station and go to another vehicle, and if the crowding is severe inside the bus or train, it is necessary to turn around and 5. Wash your hands with soap and water whenever possible. All experts interviewed by Business Insider recommend washing hands with soap and hot water for at least 20 seconds after using public transport. 6. Reduces contact with poles and seats in trains and buses. It is important to avoid contact with poles and seats inside trains and buses, and if this is not possible, hands should be cleansed once you leave the transportation means, and it is necessary not to touch the nose, eyes or mouth except after cleaning th. And in the case of using tissue paper when holding anything inside a vehicle transportation, it has to be put in a bag and closed, and be sure to throw it in the trash. 8. Do not eat or drink on public transportation. Specialist Farouzich warns against eating or drinking on public transport because there is great potential for touching the face,